Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Hey, listen, I want to make a video because I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to people that have maybe filed those SBA loans and failed it. They've got some kind of letter where they're asking for additional documentation, and people have no clue exactly what they're asking for. So I want to make this video today in regards to the forms you'll need basically to get approved for your SBA loan. Now, in particular, some of these forms they may ask for, some they may not, but it's best to have everything on deck. So I want to do this video so you have an idea exactly what they're asking for. Okay. Typically, when you're going through especially the PPP process or the SBA, they ask you a couple of questions. So let's go back when we're looking at the idle loan. The idle loan in particular, one of the first thing they ask you for is they want to get the gross profit. The gross profit is your gross revenue minus cost of goods sold. Okay, I'm going to count it by profession. So a lot of these terms are very common to me. But if you're not dealing in the financial industry or anything like that, or maybe from a management level above with business, some of those accounting or business terms may be foreign to you. But that's what when they're asking for the gross revenue minus the cost of goods sold, that is your gross profit. And they're kind of basing the amount they're going to give you off that gross profit number. Okay. Cost of goods sold is not the expenses your business had. Cost of goods sold is the cost it took to make your revenue. Let me give you an example. Let's say if you're selling you're selling bicycles and you're selling the bicycles for $20, right? But in order to make a bike, just say for the pipes, the tires, or anything like that, just what it costs to make the bike, not to run the bike shop or the bike factory, right? Just to make the bike, that may cost you $5, right? Again, so the price of the bike, $10. The cost to make the bike, $5. That $5 that is left, that's your gross profit. That's your gross margin. I'm sorry, gross profit. Okay. Remember that because I don't want to get it confused in terms of what you pay for overhead, the rent, utilities, and things you had to make to run the actual bike production company, right? They're looking for the gross profit or gross margin. Okay. Again, that's the gross revenue minus cost of goods sold, and cost of goods sold is just pretty much the direct cost that it took you to make that particular item. Again, okay, so like I said, the bike seller for 10, it took you $5 between the tires, the rims, the pipes, $5 to make that. Your gross margin or gross profit is $5. So that's the number they're looking for. Okay, even though they're not asking you for it, that's what they're basing on, that gross margin. I just want you guys to understand they're not asking for your net income or your profit, like you would have a profit and loss. They're not looking for a gross revenue minus expenses. That's just cost of goods sold, what it costs you. And depending if you have a service business or something like that, you may not have any cost of goods sold. So it can be zero. Okay. I just want give everybody an idea that so you'll know exactly what they're asking for. Okay. All right. Some of the things that they're asking for also, and they may ask for it, they may not. I just want you guys to be prepared. And also when you ask for it, you'll have an idea of what they're asking for. They may ask for your driver's license, front and back. It's kind of self-explanatory. We know what the driver's license is for. The next thing they may ask for is your bank statement. The bank statement may can start from anywhere, say February up until June or July. Okay, so just be prepared. One key thing I want everyone to understand is this. I think this is what's catching a lot of people. If you have a bank that you're applying for, ABC Incorporated, that bank statement needs to have ABC Incorporated on that. Okay, if they ask for a check for verification, that check has to have ABC Incorporated. You cannot submit your personal bank statement for your business or submit one of your personal checks for that business. The name has to match what's on the application, has to match the bank statement and also match the check. That's very important. A lot of people getting gigged on that, but I just want everybody to understand that you can't apply for a business and then turn around and have your personal have it deposited to your personal bank statement or submit a check with your personal name on it. Everything has to match. That's very, very, very important. Um, the next thing is they may ask for a Schedule C. The Schedule C is a pro, a profit and loss, form for sole proprietorship. It can be for a single owner LLC. The Schedule C is filed with your Form 1040. So if you're You're in business, you filed everything with your personal return, you'll have this form, this Schedule C submitted for it. They may ask for it, they may not. But if they ask for what is the Schedule C, I want you guys to keep in mind this is what they're asking for. And the Schedule C again is filed with your 1040 when you did your tax returns. Okay. There's another thing to keep in mind. They're asking you these numbers based off your 2019 numbers, and these numbers need to have been filed with the IRS already. Very important. Keep that in mind. It should have been filed already. So when we're looking at it's just a dummy doc for a Schedule C, this profit and loss. You see they have the tax ID number that you will have the business listed under. You know what type of business it is, the name. They'll be showing you gross revenue, some of the expenses you'll have, and that bottom line number coming out. And typically they'll be looking at whatever this net profit number on line 31. That's what a lot of times they're looking for. Again, this is a dummy doc for that, but this is what the Schedule C for. And anyway, use with the Schedule C that's usually filed with your personal tax return, your 1040 and everything. But they may ask for that Schedule C, especially if you're a sole proprietorship. Another form they may ask. This is very important. A lot of people saying they're a nonprofit, and they are not a nonprofit that is filed a 501c3 with IRS where they get non-taxation on their business. Okay, if you have not filed for to be considered as a nonprofit with the IRS, and you have not filed your taxes for it, being that 990 form, you won't be recognized as a nonprofit. Just because you say I do charity work, or I got donations and everything, that does not constitute you being a nonprofit or anything, especially if you have not reported any of this information. But again, this is the form 990. This is the form that you'll file, nonprofits file with their for their tax return. What happens here is, in the event that they need some kind of substantiating documents, because a lot of people have said they're a nonprofit and they were turned out because they're a nonprofit. That's not true. You will have to submit this 990 form. Okay, we're going back again. You would have needed to have filed your 2019 taxes. And if you're a nonprofit, 501c3, this is the form you would have filed. Okay, if you cannot substantiate this documentation, you will be denied. Okay, and again, I just want to make this video so you guys have an idea when they start throwing these numbers and forms, especially if you went to a preparer or somebody did your taxes, or even if you did, TurboTax or TaxAct, one of those softwares, and you just put information in, you weren't familiar what it was. These are the actual forms and documents that they're looking for. Okay, another one that they're looking for. This is your 941 quarterly form. This is document, especially I know with the PPP, they're always asking for that quarterly your quarterly federal tax return. Here's the deal with your 941. You do not submit this 941 if you didn't submit it to the IRS. Okay, this is just showing the income that you made for the particular quarter. Most time they ask for that first quarter 2020. But regardless what quarter they're asking for, you're gonna put in your federal ID number, the actual gross amount you paid in taxes. Paid in wages, the taxes you applied for, and all that information from there. Do not submit this form and say you had payroll and you did not have payroll, because it's going to be validated. I want everyone to understand that if you send this, let me stop with that too. If you didn't do it and they asked for it, you still submit it and just put zeros on here and say this is what I didn't have. Okay. If they asked for it and you had say contractors on there, this is not applied to contract. This is applied to straight employees. So if a person was an employee or something, they were actually getting a W-2 employee, not a 1099, their payroll information will be listed on here. Okay, so just keep in mind that when they ask for this 941, don't just create a document. Make sure that 941 has been filed with the IRS, because they're going to verify everything. Okay, so I just want you guys to have an idea exactly what that was as far as with the 941. Okay, again, I just want you guys to be familiar with some of the forms that need them, because if you're not accustomed to it and you're in business, you're doing your thing, you wouldn't know what some of these forms are. Okay, so a lot of times we're scrambling to try to get everything done, because I know everyone needs the money and everything. If you're submitting the wrong thing, they're just denying you, and you really can't. You're in a situation right now you can't afford to be denied because you need the money. So we want to make sure that all the stuff we can take care of on the front end, we want to make sure we have. So what I would advise you to do, if you have not filed already, the information I just gave you guys, I would try to make sure you already have that stuff somewhere already before you start applying for the PPP or the EIDL loan. Again, have that information to the side just in case you're asked for it. Okay, that's very, very important because a lot of people are doing the reactionary side of it, trying to apply because they heard they could get this, that, and that, and then when they ask for it, they really don't know what they're looking for. And after a while, you may have got passed over, or they ran out of money, things like that happen. So we want to make sure we take everything on the front end. So again, I'll run through that again. Make sure you got, your bank statement with the company that you're applying for, the bank that's still listed on the bank statement, and also on your checks, just in case they want to do some kind of verification. You got to have all that stuff matching: the application, the bank statement, and the check. Copy your driver's license front and back. Schedule C, 941, that federal quarterly payroll tax form, the form 990 for nonprofits, that tax filing, and also keep in mind what they were saying, asking that initial question with regards to gross revenue, cost of goods sold. Remember, gross revenue is the gross amount that you made. Cost of goods sold is the cost that you incurred to make that dollar. Okay, not your regular expenses, not utilities, rent, insurance, or anything like that. Those are just regular expenses. The cost of goods sold is the cost that you incurred to make that dollar. Remember the example we gave with the bike. $10 we're selling the bike for. $5 it takes to, buy the tires, the pipes, and everything like that. And that $5 left, that's what we look at call our gross margin, or gross profit. Okay, that's what they're looking at. Okay, keep that in mind. I hope this information helped you guys, because again, I've been getting a lot of questions in regards to it. So I just want to make this video to kind of just give you guys this info exactly what's needed. Remember, again, this is very, very important. Try to have all this stuff ready before you start applying. This is Deonte Burden, aka Mr. Short Dollar himself. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mr. Short Dollar, where we talk about personal finance, entrepreneurship, business, and real estate investing. I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving me, and if you got any questions, feel free to just reach out. Take care of yourself, guys.